Holy moly. Oh. I don't know what happened.
You ate a huge cheeseburger.
I do have a tendency to eat and then go.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I mean, this wasn't the best episode. It was kind of a dud.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're at the point where, like, anybody that goes home, I'm going to be upset about it. So there's that in the first place. In the second place, this challenge was boring. It was, like, one of the weakest ones, astonishingly, because it seems like such a good idea.
Okay, well, this episode was Rumerican horror story, Coven Girls. Why?
I don't know. Plus, it wasn't just Coven. It was all of the seasons.
Well, sure. I mean, it's also like, I mean, I suppose, especially in gay, like in gay land, American Horror Story Coven is pretty timeless. But it was like, that was the fall of 2013.
Yeah.
That was almost 10 years ago.
Like 8 years ago.
But because we're also launching the spinoff American Horror Stories.
Yeah.
But that's on Hulu, owned by Disney. I didn't understand. And it's not even like the actual like flagship American Horror Stories doesn't come back for another couple weeks. So I don't know what this weird tie-in was.
Bizarre.
Because we also had Emma Roberts, who looks fantastic.
Yeah, amazing. Extremely pregnant.
Very pregnant.
Very glowy.
And her color palette.
Yeah, all of the floral on her dress was amazing. And
Queen herself, Angela Bassett, called in to give them. It reminded me of the Anne Hathaway, where last season they were like, leave it to Anne Hathaway to give drag queens actionable acting advice. And it was like she actually was giving them like stuff to work with. Like,
what are you gonna call Angela Bassett to phone it in?
Well, I could believe that she just sort of inherently possesses it.
Well, she does.
But the fact that she could actually be like, well, this, and this.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We opened with the continuing story of Jan's decline, Jan's meltdown.
Descent into madness, if you will. I'm like pretty firmly straight down the middle. Because on the one hand, I wish she would have gone home last week, but at the same time, I'm like, she is doing the most.
Well, and this was like, of all the times to do what she does, this was the week to do it.
This was the week for sure.
But it was also sort of like, well, we just A, saw, and B, chastised this.
Yeah.
And so
it is a weird, like, conflicting
and frankly, because I wrote down specifically Eureka and Raja sort of like chimed in the conversation in the beginning about her. What?
It was hilarious.
Well, about her authenticity, where she was like, but I thought that's what I was doing. And they were like, no, you're doing the most. That's different from authenticity. And Eureka especially was like, the challenge needed relatability and vulnerability. And you were like...
Well, and then Jan goes, well, I thought that's what I was doing. Is that not what I was doing? And then there was a chorus of no. Which was so funny.
It made me think of just from 13 where Candy was, am I arrogant? And Joey just goes, Candy, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
Like, it was very sort of like, you're doing it right now.
It's just like, you're doing the thing.
She seems to be getting it. I think the thing... Because, I mean, I've known Jan's. Hell, at one point in my life, I was a Jan. But the thing is, she wants the prize. But it's like... It's almost like she thinks the prize will give her happiness. Mm-hmm. Is that where you're... Okay.
Yeah, it's like she wants the thing, and she believes she deserves the thing, and she almost doesn't want to grow and do the work to get the thing. Which is not to say that I don't think she's good in general.
She's very talented. She's likable. Yeah. Like there's a lot of good things, but it's like it's the whole like if you can't love yourself, how can you love anyone else thing? That it's like I think she's hearing the words, but I just don't think it's resonating.
She's not taking it on board in an again, to use your word, in an actionable way.
And the thing is, I know she's in the girl group with Rosé. It's Stephanie's child. It's Rosé and a third one who I'm unfamiliar with. And I'm curious what they're like. I mean, I'm sure there's YouTube videos that I could look up and be like, I wish I did that. But I don't know. Because I mean, some people maybe don't flourish on their own. Like maybe she is a team player.
Sure.
I don't know. It is actually very interesting. Back to this. Well, and the thing was that there was a gold mine in this.
There could have been a gold mine in this. No one was pickaxing hard enough.
Well, it almost like the way once it was edited together, or even beyond that, it's almost like they all created their character in a vacuum.
Yeah, that's the thing is you said team player, and I don't think anybody was playing on a team in this. Everybody had their own way to go, and so it rendered the entire thing totally dramatically inert.
It was crazed. Everybody again was doing the most, save for I think I was gonna say Trinity and Kylie. I think were pretty strong. Eureka. Okay, so I like Eureka a lot, and I've liked her run on this show, and she wasn't bad at all. But there's a precise moment in this skit where she's talking to Ginger as Emma Roberts, and she's like, "You're that celebrity," and then she looks straight into the camera and screams, "I'm your biggest fan," frantically.
Yeah.
And there was no actual flow or connection.
Yeah.
And it's like, I totally understand and appreciate what Raja was attempting to do with the voice, like by taking on a character, but there was no cohesion. And then on top of that, it now, granted, I remember from Raja's season, and we also see in the episode that she struggled with the acting challenge, but it was just sort of like once she found her angle, she couldn't comprehend anything else.
No, 100%. And that's the thing. That's part of the thing that made the whole entire thing so frustrating is like everybody had an okay idea, but there was like no unifying force in the center. So it was just all of these solitary planets wobbling around in the middle of space with no sun, which is like so frustrating. There was nothing pulling this together.
And believe it or not, I mean, these are meant to be dumb, and some of the best ones are stupid, but they weren't even following, there was no through line through the entire skit.
I don't mind.
And it was so long.
It was so long. It was so boring. There was no plot to it. There was sort of like Complete the Seven Wonders, but it was all like everybody had to be up there. And so it was like,
but they were models.
Different, and they were all models.
But they were witches.
But then also, like, the bearded lady and the Siamese twins are from Freak Show, and the rest of them are from Coven, and it was just all very... And nobody had the presence of mind to make Kylie shriek Naughty Pine.
Naughty Pine!
Arguably the most unhinged Jessica Lange has ever been, and nobody thought that was a good idea?
I just remembered the Kate McKinnon.
Naughty Pine!
Yeah. Naughty Pine!
Naughty Pine!
Because it was Seinfeld, and he was like, "What's something that you've watched?"
Oh, yeah.
Because that's something that makes American Horror Story such a delight to behold. Is we say it constantly. Also, we're covering American Horror Stories and will be covering American
Horror Story.
I'm Will and she's Kristen.
Oh, shit.
We dove oh, shit.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
We dove right in. But if you like what we're doing and want to see us do it with other stuff, just hit subscribe.
Also, if you want to see a way smoother segue into asking for money, go watch our Sense and Sensibility episode, because I wedged that bitch right
in the middle. It was really nice. But
it just came to me.
We're often saying the thing about American Horror Story is you're watching absolute titans, like champions of their craft.
100%.
Also from different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Emma Roberts is a fine actress, but it's like to see her going toe-to-toe with Jessica Lange, with Kathy Bates, with Angela Bassett. There's something...
Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, or someone like Lady Gaga really being thrown in, like, not to the wolves, what's like, the deep end.
Yeah.
They really threw her in the deep end, and you can really see her sort of, like you can literally see the muscles growing watching that season. It's fascinating watching these excellent people just wallow, like, absolutely bathe in the gutter.
Yeah.
That
just roll around in the shit with the pigs.
It's fascinating.
Chloe Sevigny is in a season of American Horror Story.
She's in 2.
2 seasons.
And And it's like the MCU. It's like anything worth doing. You have to treat it seriously, which is where I think Kylie Sonique eventually did succeed. There was a debate as to whether or not her or Ginger was going to play Jessica Lange. It was a non-question, no issue for me.
No,
she
why
looks
Ginger?
just like.
No, it shouldn't have been Ginger literally ever because Kylie I believe that Kylie, when she went to go get work done, took a picture of Jessica Lange. I believe it because everything about her face shape.
Well, and Ginger's very good. We know this to be true. But she would have just been Ginger, kind of looking like Jessica Lange.
Right.
And
I much more enjoyed her as playing this like Emma Roberts.
And frankly, there was a part of me that I was like, huh? And then she kind of pulled it off. Like she did a take
to the
on
point
it.
Where Emma Roberts was like, I feel like I'm looking in a mirror.
Well, she was like, I kind of feel like I've arrived.
Yeah.
That now. They also didn't do surprise pitch. It was really weird. It was really odd. First of all, why was Joan Crawford there? Second of all, why was Pandora the only one, although her Myrtle Snow was really good.
Very
it
good.
Was very inspired.
Very good.
The Jan is Leah Michelle thing, I mean, I guess.
But again, why are we pulling multiple seasons into this? She wasn't in that season.
She's never been on American Horror Story.
That's right, she was on Scream Queens.
And she didn't shit in anybody's wig. There were so many,
I don't know.
There were so many things that it was really, I think maybe they like found this script and they were like, oh, remember 5 years ago? I don't know. Also at the end, they time traveled to the 70s with a weird cameo from Rue where they were dancers on Soul Train and the Leatherman was there.
No idea.
It was very strange.
Did they put one of the pit crew in a full body outfit for that? So you're also denigrating the pit crew.
It was like a late season Family Guy cutaway.
Sure.
Late series Family Guy cutaway.
Yeah,
where
sure.
I was like, I mean, this might as well happen. I felt good. I felt positive about Kylie Sonique winning this.
Sure.
That was the consensus. We're going to get Rachel in here. We got a comment. One of our watchers was like, who is this Rachel? She's our friend and collaborator. If you want to meet her more properly, well, she's already been on the show.
Yeah.
She was on our Twilight episode.
Yep.
Back from November.
And she's been on some of our podcast episodes too, specifically when we talk about Buffy and Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. We did a MCU.
Yeah.
We did a couple things with her, but we plan on incorporating her more, but we're currently tech-wise with mics and cameras and stuff. If you want to help us out with all of that, we have a Patreon.
Not quite as seamless, but still good.
Where you can help us help you.
Yeah.
I forgot why I brought up Rachel. Oh, she just wasn't feeling any of it. She wasn't feeling any of this episode. Because even Kylie, I think she was like, eh.
Yeah.
She wasn't.
I liked a couple of the runways.
Right. I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah.
Why? Well,
but
okay.
Very few.
They were all good is the thing. Nothing really wowed me all that much.
Because when they all wear black, it just looks like a moosh of color of nothing on
Which
stage.
I mean, the theme was goth, but white, red, and silver are also components of that nobody.
So I think Jan
was good.
And I think Akira. I liked Akira.
I didn't like Akira's.
No,
I just thought it was kind of ugly.
It was Jan, and I really, really liked someone else's.
I liked
Jan.
Pandora's.
Pandora's was good. The
widow.
The morning, yeah.
And I liked Eureka's a lot. I sincerely thought when she came out and was walking the runway, she was like Bride of Frankenstein / Marge Simpson. I thought she was wearing lingerie, and I thought she straight had a merkin on. I wish that would have been incredible. It reminds me of, I've told this story before, but that movie Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Yeah,
Monica Bellucci is like a madam, and she straight wear there's a picture from the movie where she's just pantless. She's wearing like a sheer skirt and full bush. They ran it in newspapers. They ran I was looking at it like.
That's not a bikini bottom.
Yeah, I was like, this is a period whore.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so that's what it kind of reminded me of. And then it was just bottoms, and I was disappointed.
I think if it was going to have been a merkin, it would have had to be like
comedic.
That would have had to be the point of the outfit, where like there was still something sheer over top, and so it's like if it had been a merkin, there wouldn't have been the sheer thing. I think.
Well, like I said, I don't really know what the guidelines are with this being on Paramount Plus, because they're not censoring the language, but they're censoring other stuff. But I appreciated Ginger's wig a lot. It was good. The little girl ghost with like the doll, but she just had this like.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It still felt a little bit like the like butterfly catcher from the other week, where it's just like it's all very shticky in a way that like I know that that's her thing, but it's also. I think because she's so good everywhere else, they're not giving her critiques on her thing, where like they've not once been like, we want more glam from you.
And this, according to her, according to her, she was going more glamorous this season. I don't remember.
Raja's the other one I like. The pants.
I was waiting. I was like, Raja's was the only one that was like, it absolutely counted as gothic.
Yeah.
I was like, but it was also just like a gorgeous ensemble.
It was also just like hot.
With the purple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Raja's like a front runner for me. I was going to say dark horse, but I just didn't like her all that much on the season 11. And, we've gotten comments.
Like, turned that around.
Well, we've gotten comments that's half of All Stars' whole deal is witnessing the growth.
Yeah.
And the places where we have it. I did miss Scarlett. I don't know what she would have done in the challenge, but I would have liked to have seen her runway.
Maybe it was the red thing.
If she were the only one standing there in red, oh my God, that would have been amazing.
Just saying.
But, right? Am I off with that? I mean, goth?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, black and white and red and like some
there's
silver.
There's a lot of black involved. I think you should be wearing something black.
Like someone do the full Gary Oldman Dracula with the big wig.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? The big boob wigs. But
honestly, even Victorian Gary Oldman Dracula.
Or, well, I mean, I think that Bram Stoker's Dracula is fairly middle of the, what?
You said Bram Stoker's Dracula. Bram Stroker?
Cheryl Canning.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker's Dracula is fairly, like, I'm sure those looks have walked this runway.
Of course.
Especially Lucy's wedding/funeral dress, but regardless. So Kylie was the winner. Raja and Akira were in the bottom. They were also at the bottom in their season. They had to lip sync, well, they didn't lip sync against each other this time, but our lip sync assassin was Manila Luzon, who I've seen in an episode of Pit Stop, and I've heard the name, but other than that, it was fine. Rachel was
kind of a boring lip sync. I mean, Kylie did like
those two hot chicks, just kind of like.
Kylie did a backflip into a split, but then she did it twice, and I was like, I mean, okay. And then her tits were any minute gonna fall.
Well, I even made a comment because Rachel was like, underboob only works if yada yada. I don't remember what she was saying, and I was like, if you're a 23-year-old Christina Aguilera, like promoting dirty, and then sure enough, that's what the lip sync was. Which,
that's also, I mean, maybe not the most dynamic song to sing to, but they also were like not trying to bust out any Christina moves either, which was a little disappointing.
There wasn't enough grinding, there wasn't enough writhing, there wasn't enough like
no dirty water anywhere.
So it was fine. Yeah. Well, like I said, it's a solid season. There's bound to be sort of ups and downs, whatever. There was a lot of talking in Untucked. Definitely, it added to the thought processes, but I don't think there was anything in particular that was all that juicy or noteworthy.
I just need Jan to keep her mouth shut about who she voted for next week. Just be quiet. She just keeps talking, and she just needs to be quiet.
She's gonna find some way to be the only one that voted for Raja.
Unbelievable.
No, that we saw it. She voted. It was across the board Akira, which that was thoughtful that they were discussing where they were like, "Are we even going to pretend like Raja's an option?"
Yeah.
And Akira took it in stride. Mixed. I feel very mixed about it. I think she brought some very, very solid looks.
Yeah.
And the performances, I mean, that I guess I can and especially this, the Gabrielle Sidibe, it's like she's a phenomenal talent and she is part of the American Horror Story cast. But I was like, is she
like iconic in the same way that Jessica Lange
that warrants parody? I was like,
she's only been in the 2 seasons and only 1 episode in the other season, right?
She was in Freak Show. She was in Coven. She was in Apocalypse.
But only the 1 episode or 2 episodes in Apocalypse.
She was in Hotel.
Was she? I don't remember her.
One
from
episode of Hotel.
But she's still a ghost.
Because they
in
killed
that.
her off
Yeah,
on ceremony, so it was real weird.
Yeah.
So they took the American horror storyness of it to heart this episode.
Yeah, but then in that case,
very splashy, but ultimately for what? I
wish they had just focused on Coven. There's enough female characters in Coven that they could have just made Coven work.
No, I get it. I understand. I understand the impulse. I just wish it was actually.
Yeah.
So, we didn't see a preview for next week, so we don't know what it's going to be like. I think I would have thought this would have been Snatch Game because I would have thought the 8 of them would have done.
Maybe. But maybe next week.
So, we'll see. We miss our girl Scarlett.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I am glad Raja is still around, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I like that.
So, okay, well, like I said, if you like this, like and subscribe. It actually is extremely helpful for us. And it makes us feel good. And watch our other videos. Head over to our website, soimwatching.com, where you can find the podcast. We've been doing video since October of 2020, but we've been doing this for 4 years. So we've got a backlog if you want to go over and search for some things.
The early days of 2018.
So, okay, well, hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Okay, bye.
Naughty pine!